At the beginning of the film, there is a young boy who is an orphan. Having lost his parents, he starts to live a sorrowful life. Seeking comfort, he moves in with his grandmother. This boy is known as Hero Boy. However, despite being with his grandmother, he is still overwhelmed with grief, as he deeply misses his parents, especially his affectionate and kind-hearted mother, who used to take great care of him. But adjusting to his new life isn't easy for Hero Boy. One day, his grandmother notices his sadness and tells him, "I have a pet for you. Play with it, befriend it, and share your secrets with it." A few weeks later, she gives him a mouse. This little creature brings immense joy to Hero Boy. He starts spending most of his time with it, growing very attached. He often tells his grandmother, "Grandma, mice live such joyful lives. They jump and play in their cages all the time." One day, as Hero Boy is playing with his mouse in his room, a witch watches him from outside. Her gaze is unsettling. Around the same time, his grandmother suddenly falls ill. Though she recovers after a while, something feels off. One day she says, "Come on, my dear. Let's go for a walk." They head out for some shopping. As Hero Boy wanders a little away from his grandmother, a strange woman approaches him. In reality, she is a witch, the same one who had been watching their house earlier. She extends a chocolate to him and says in a sweet yet eerie voice, "Come here, dear child." She tries to bewitch him. A mysterious snake slithers beside her, adding to the ominous feeling. Just then, his grandmother calls out to him. Hearing her voice, Hero Boy instinctively turns and rushes back to her. The witch, realizing she has lost her chance, vanishes in an instant. When they return home, Hero Boy tells his grandmother, "Grandma, that woman in the store spoke to me strangely. She was forcing me to take chocolate, saying, 'Listen to me.' And she had a snake with her." His grandmother listens carefully and then says, "My dear, that was a witch. This is why we always warn you never to accept food from strangers. It could be drugged or cursed. And more importantly, why would you ever take something from a witch? She is trying to lure you." She continues, "Let me share a story from my childhood. When I was around 10 years old, I had a dear friend. One day, while we were walking together, she suddenly disappeared. I turned back and saw a strange woman offering her chocolate. That woman was no ordinary person. She was a witch. Not just any witch, but their leader. Frightened, I quickly pulled my friend away and ran. The next day, while my mother was tying my hair, I witnessed something shocking. My friend transformed into a chicken right before my eyes. That witch had cursed her. Maybe she put something in that chocolate. From that day on, I have always stayed away from witches. So remember, my dear, never take anything from them. Stay away from their traps." Hero Boy's grandmother warns him, "My son, we must leave this place soon. The witches have set their sights on our home. They always target the poor and vulnerable first." Not far from their house stood a grand hotel. Fortunately, Hero Boy's grandmother had a cousin who worked there as an executive chef. She also shared a close bond with the hotel manager. Using her connection, she secures a small room for them in the hotel. The manager, a kind-hearted man, gladly makes the arrangement. Hero Boy and his grandmother move into the hotel. They are free to go wherever they please. However, something unsettling soon takes place. One by one, a large number of witches arrive at the hotel. They are there for a secret gathering, one that will conclude with a grand feast. These witches appear elegant and sophisticated, dressed in stylish attire as they meet with the hotel manager. With an air of authority, they tell him, "You know who we are. Prepare a hall for our gathering." But beneath their polished appearance lies a sinister plan. They intend to rid the world of children. Instead of hunting them one by one, they will trick them all with enchanted chocolates laced with a powerful potion. One bite is enough to transform any child into an animal. Children are ill-mannered, they claim. They do not deserve to exist in this world. We no longer have the time to determine which ones are the worst. So we will eliminate them all. As night falls, Hero Boy sits with his grandmother while the rain pours outside. Curious, he asks, "Grandma, what do witches look like?" His grandmother explains. Their fingers are unnaturally long, but they hide them with gloves. Their nails are filthy. They are completely bald, so they always wear wigs or large hats. Hearing this, Hero Boy shudders in fear. As the storm rages through the night, morning finally arrives. Feeling restless, Hero Boy takes his pet mouse and heads to the grand hall to play. But he is not alone. The witches begin to gather. Sensing danger, Hero Boy quickly hides. Then, the Grand High Witch enters. She sniffs the air, trying to detect any nearby children. But when she finds nothing, she begins the meeting. All witches take their seats as the Grand High Witch stands before them. She holds up a small vial filled with a strange liquid. "This," she declares, "is our new magic formula. Just a single drop mixed into candy or chocolate. And any child who eats it will transform into an animal, instantly." She begins explaining the details, but then she stops. Once again, she sniffs the air. A foul sneer forms on her face as she leans forward, sniffing the stage itself. Her nose twitches, and her grotesque features contort. Then, without warning, she flips the stage over. But there is no one beneath it. Instead, she spots a small ventilator window nearby. Hero Boy is there. With a wicked grin, she lunges toward him. Just then, another child enters the hall, a large boy, the son of one of the hotel guests. The witches immediately shift their attention to him. Noticing his love for food, they smirk in satisfaction. "Entrapping him will be easy," they whisper among themselves. They offer him a chocolate infused with their potion. Without hesitation, the boy devours it. Within moments, his body begins to shrink. Before their very eyes, he transforms into a tiny mouse. But then, something unexpected happens. The witches, who had been so confident, suddenly recoil in terror at the sight of the mouse. Panicked, they prepare to crush it beneath their heeled shoes. At that moment, Hero Boy seizes the tiny creature and darts out of the ventilator window. But in doing so, he makes a fatal mistake. The witches spot him. With swift precision, they seize him and pour a single drop of their potion into his ear. Within seconds, Hero Boy begins to shrink. He, too, is transformed into a mouse. Now, both Hero Boy and the large boy, now a mouse, scurry away in fear. But they are not alone. Hero Boy's pet mouse is with them. And to their surprise, they learn something shocking. This mouse is actually a little girl. She had once been a human child, but long ago, a witch had tricked her with an enchanted chocolate, just as they had done to the others. Despite their misfortune, the three of them form a strong bond. Together, they make a solemn vow. "We will take revenge on these witches." Hero Boy rushes to his grandmother, his tiny voice filled with urgency. "Grandma, the witches have turned us into mice." Fury flares in her eyes. "Those cursed witches! Turning my grandchildren into mice. This cannot go unpunished. I will have my revenge." Hero Boy then shares an important detail. "Grandma, I noticed something. The room where the witches are staying, we can see its terrace from ours." A clever idea sparks in his grandmother's mind. "I have a plan," she says. "I'll knit a sock and lower you down inside it. You can sneak in, steal their magic potion, and bring it back. Then, I'll find a way to turn you human again." Without hesitation, she places Hero Boy inside the sock and carefully lowers him down. His tiny heart pounds in fear, but the Grand High Witch is nowhere to be seen. He quickly grabs the vial containing the potion and climbs back into the sock. Just as his grandmother begins pulling it up, disaster strikes. The witch spots the movement and grabs the sock. "What is this?" she demands. Thinking fast, Hero Boy's grandmother replies, "Oh, this. I accidentally dropped my knitting. Just pulling it back up, dear." The witch narrows her eyes, suspicious. She reaches out to inspect the sock. If she sees Hero Boy inside, she will surely kill him. At that moment, the hotel manager arrives, interrupting her. Annoyed, the witch lets go, and Hero Boy is safely pulled back up. Now in possession of the potion, the grandmother wastes no time. She pours a few drops onto a plate and places the three mice, Hero Boy, the other transformed child, and Hero Boy's pet, one by one onto it. But nothing happens. The potion was designed to turn humans into animals, not animals back into humans. Hero Boy's heart sinks. "Grandma, we can't be changed back." "But wait, why don't we use this potion against the witches? Let's pour it into their soup before they eat." His grandmother's eyes light up with admiration. "Brilliant idea, my dear." Without delay, she places the three mice inside her bag and sneaks into the hotel kitchen. There, she finds the large pot of soup meant for the witch's grand feast. She carefully empties the potion into the soup. Just then, the hotel manager catches her in the act. "Excuse me, madam. Are those mice yours? Pets are not allowed in the kitchen. This is a serious violation." Thinking quickly, she shakes her head. "Mice? I don't own any mice. Check my bag if you don't believe me." Unbeknownst to him, the 3 mice are expertly hidden in a corner of the bag. After thoroughly searching her belongings and finding nothing, the manager looks embarrassed. "Apologies, madam. I must have been mistaken." Seeing his unease, the grandmother seizes the moment. "I should report you for falsely accusing a guest. The authorities will shut this hotel down." The manager panics. No. Please, let's forget this ever happened. Dinner is on the house as my apology." With her plan successfully carried out, the grandmother accepts the free meal and leaves. Soon, it is time for the witches' feast. Unaware of what awaits them, they gather around their special soup, prepared exclusively for them. One by one, they take their first spoonfuls, and chaos erupts. Almost instantly, the witches begin to shrink and morph, each one turning into a mouse. The grandmother watches with satisfaction as panic spreads. Hotel staff and guests scream at the sudden infestation. But she is not the only one enjoying the sight. The hotel workers immediately begin stomping on the witches-turned mice, crushing them mercilessly. However, there is one problem. The Grand High Witch has yet to taste the soup. Still in her human form, she watches in horror as her coven is destroyed. Thinking fast, the 3 mice set a clever trap. They lure the Grand High Witch into catching her finger in a mousetrap. She shrieks in pain, and in that moment of distraction, they pour the potion straight into her mouth. A sudden transformation overtakes her. But unlike the others, she does not turn into an ordinary mouse. She becomes an enormous, hideous rat, far bigger than the rest. The grandmother wastes no time. She traps the monstrous witch inside a glass jar, and places it before a hungry, ferocious hotel cat. "Let's see if that cat enjoys a special meal tonight," she says with a smirk. With the witches defeated, the grandmother gathers the 3 mice into her bag and leaves the hotel, victorious. She no longer has to live in fear. She can finally return home. Outside the hotel, the once greedy boy's parents are in distress. "Where is our son?" they cry. But the boy's mother, who is always cold and unloving, recoils in horror when she hears his tiny mouse voice. "Get rid of it! That is not my son!" she screams. The boy, now accepting his fate, simply says, "That's fine. I have my friends now. I'm better off without you." Back at home, the grandmother lovingly cares for her 3 mice. She feeds them well, ensuring they live happy and comfortable lives. What's more surprising? None of them want to turn back into humans. They enjoy their new existence, running, playing, and living without a care. The grandmother watches them with warmth in her heart. And so, the story ends on a joyful note, with laughter, friendship, and freedom.